morning. Sawadee krap. Oh crap. Sawadee krap. Welcome back to Chiang Mai. Our trip that was supposed to take us around the Mae Hau Song Loop came to a grinding halt yesterday. Let me explain. We started the day in a place called Chiang Dao, which is high up in the mountains and it's beautiful, absolutely stunning, rather chilly, but spectacular views. Not a lot to do, but spectacular views. Although, did have a lovely little market. Anyway, if you go into Google Maps and type in pie from Chiang Dao, it will give you two options. One is about 15 minutes shorter time-wise than the other, but it's significant. I think it's a fair bit longer on the drive-wise. So that kind of makes you think. It's shorter in time, but a lot longer in drive. So obviously the other way, it's going to have some reason why it's a lot longer. And I kind of knew because we'd been up through the mountains the day before going towards that place. So I thought this would be great. We'd be going up over the mountains again, or hills, whatever the hell they're called here. Anyway, I'm so fucking useless at YouTubing, vlogging. In the moment, I was so stressed that I couldn't just stop the car, get out with the camera and film what's happening around me or what I'm doing and what we're about to do. I did a time lapse of part of the stuff, but I didn't show you any of the real sort of major parts, but I'll explain. So this road we set off on, first things first, we had to pay 400 baht because, I don't know, some guy in an army uniform had a barrier, wouldn't let us in without 400 baht. He didn't speak English. He also didn't have any change. That was a pain in the arse. So 400 baht. I think it was because it was a national park, and just based upon the ride, they must spend a fortune maintaining that place because it's just continual landslides, rock falls, trees across the road. I mean, just everywhere you go. Just imagine every time they have a rainstorm, something falls down that hill, those hills. Big and rather messy, I'm sure. So that paid. We set off the road thinking, oh yeah, this will be just like yesterday, up and down the mountains. And it was. I mean, there were some bits we went to where the road was basically half the road because the other half had fallen down the hill, or the other half was blocked off by cones because you could see over the edge that like everything that was underneath it had gone. So that was quite exciting, if exciting is the word. But all in all, we thought, oh, this is alright, we've done this, it was cool. We went really fucking high. I mean, we started off at a high point where we are in Chiang Dao, but we went really fucking high. Smelly cat. So what happened was we went up and over the mountain, and it took about an hour, and we were like, yeah, that was cool, that was fine. Well, maybe 45 minutes. Anyway, long time. Well, that was cool. We went up and over, saw some amazing views, beautiful countryside, and then we came into what looked like civilization. We thought, okay, this is it. Now we're on our way to Pai, and it's still showing well over 2 hours to Pai. And we set off down this road that suddenly became like a rough track, that suddenly became a mud track, that suddenly there was a river across the road in front of us. And like in the UK we have fords, which is where the river runs over the road, but underneath it is a road that you can still drive through. It's still still usable. This was like rocks, and there seemed to be like two ways you can go, one side or the other. One side looked really rough and scrunchy, and the other side looked really rough and scrunchy, with quite a big bit coming out as well. But that was where I decided to go. And we're in a hire car, bear that in mind. It's not my freaking car. If it was my car, I wouldn't care so much. At the end of the day, I can just walk away and leave it. It's someone else's car that I'm on the hook for any repairs on. We entered the water. It wasn't that deep. Probably wasn't more than 6 to 8 inches deep. And we crushed. We could hear the big rocks underneath moving under the wheels, so it was kind of scrabbling to get across. And then we had the bit at the end, which was kind of like this, like that, quite steep and sudden. We'd already ground the bottom of the car a couple of times going through that, and then coming out we ground the bottom of the car again, and I was convinced that I was doing some serious damage down there, and I was really kind of worried we were going to get trapped. Anyway, we made it, and then the road proceeded to get fucking worse. I've never been up to steep, well, they weren't, as I said, they were mud tracks, steep mud tracks, tiny narrow bends over bridges, over bits of water. There was a lot going on. That kid just threw his rubbish away. Parents should be ashamed. Come out of his own shop, threw rubbish across the road. His parents should be ashamed. Right. Yeah, so the road was ridiculous. Then I turned around this bend, and there's another freaking water crossing. Now this one is 3 times the width. And I stopped the car. I think you can actually see me in the time lapse walking away from the car. I walked down there, and there's this young Thai woman we'd kind of been passing on, and she'd been passing us on the road on a scooter. And I stopped to ask her if that was the way to Pai, and she said yes. As had Google. And I'm like, Google never warned us that this road wasn't really a road. It was a fucking collection of mud tracks and God knows what, and a few bloody river crossings. I looked at this river crossing. It was a lot deeper than the first one. Now I've seen too many videos online of a certain ford in the UK where people go in and the cars get wrecked because the air intake goes underwater, and I ain't doing that with somebody else's car. That just basically wrecks the whole car. It's fucked. I could also see that the bottom was uneven. It wasn't rock, it was kind of sand, and yeah, it was very uneven. I could see like shallow bits and I could see really dark bits, and there's just no way I wanted to put myself in that position where I could end up falling down there. I looked at it, the woman on the bike wasn't going through either. She'd already decided she was not going through. And there were tyre tracks there, but they all drive big ass 4x4s up in that mountain, so you know there were tyre tracks in and out, but without a 4x4 I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. So I reversed back. The person on the bike said there's another way, we keep going, so at least I think that's what they said. I think they were wrong, or lots was lost in translation for elsewhere. So we set off, and the road was immediately already worse than what we'd already experienced, in a big bad way. I mean, crazy steep, crazy tight bends, narrow, just mud and sand. And the sand, I've done it on motorbikes, and it's just the bike, just hard for the wheels to get purchased, just slide on it. And you could ill afford to slide around these bends. It's a long way down. Anyway, eventually we came into what I'm guessing is like a tiny village. I see this guy in his garden. I've got like a Y and go left or right, neither of which looked like something I want to do, because they both looked promised, hello old boy. It felt like he promised nothing but misery. Anyway, I asked this guy, is this the road to Pai? And obviously we're dealing with language issues, but we went, Pai? No, that way. Like, that way is the way I came. Surely not, surely not. But that's what he was saying. So, in light of the fact that the other two directions didn't look any freaking good either, it was decided by me, we're going to go back the way we came, all the way back to Pai. We'd already been on the road for about 2 hours for this so-called 3-hour journey to Pai, and we literally were turning around and going back. So having left at 10, we had to go back to Chiang Dao, which meant going back for the first water crossing again, going around all those effing roads again. I was not happy. It was not going well. It did not go well. So eventually we get back to the foot of the mountain. We have to go over the mountain. Now, as I said, going over the mountain I thought was really exciting and cool. When we went back, it felt like nothing, because what we'd just been through was so honestly extreme that it felt like nothing. Going up over the mountain and coming down the other side felt like nothing. So we were like, oh shit, there's the army checkpoint, we're already here, how did that happen? That's what it was like. So by 2 p.m. we were in Chiang Dao in a coffee shop, having been on the road for 4 hours and literally gone nowhere. Now also, I've been contacting the hotel because I booked the hotel online the night before, and you need one of those places with no reception where you have to contact them on how to check in. So that's what I did. I contacted them. How do I check in? Let me try that road. No reply to my text after like 3 hours. So I phoned them. Go straight to voicemail. I'm thinking, oh fuck, okay. This will be one of those. They haven't updated their phone number on the booking app. When you get there, there'll be another number and you do it that way. I've had that kind of thing before. But it's over a 3-hour drive to Pai from where we are. Well, just under a 3-hour drive, 2 minutes 55 drive to Pai from where we are. And I want to know, how do I check in? Well, we're sitting having our coffee discussing this. Get a message saying, fully booked. I'm like, it's okay, no, you don't understand. I booked online, 2 nights. Here's my name. Then back again, fully booked. I'm like, what the fuck? We are, at this stage, about 3 kilometres from the turn off to Pai. Now, if any of you know Pai in Thailand, from Chiang Mai to Pai, it's a famous road. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's about 900 odd bends. It's just like, because it's all up over the mountain and down the other side. What we've been going through for the last few days, but like way more bends I suspect. I don't know. What we went through was pretty extreme. But anyway, I didn't want to do a 3-hour drive unless I knew for sure the hotel were expecting me. So I phoned them up, I spoke to the woman, she said, no, we're booked. Alright, I put the phone down in disgrace. No, in disgust actually, halfway through the call. And then I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? I've had this situation before, you know, where you just end up losing your money. So I went on the booking app, found the help desk and thought, here we go, all the stupid bot fucking replies. So I go on, I ask them a question, and the bot basically says, we think you need to speak to a real person. I'm like, yes! At last, some real fucking conversation. I'm thinking, oh god, this will be some third world fucking person, knows nothing about what I'm trying to go through, and shit will get awful. But no, this young lady, Priscilla, her name was, I mean, she could be a man, she could be 12, 15, 20 stone of muscle bound male, or could have been just a more smart bot, could be a Chinese bot. Anyway, I contacted her, I said, look, we've got a room booked, but the hotel says it's not available. She's like, okay, leave it with me. I'll phone them up. I'll get back to you in 15 minutes. So we decided to go for a cup of coffee. Went for a cup of coffee. And while we're having a cup of coffee, I messaged her again saying like, any reply, any news, like, bear with us, we're still trying to get information. 5 minutes later she comes back. Yep, you haven't got a room. Here's the 2 options. Option number 1, I can get you another room somewhere else and we'll bear any difference. Option number 2, you can walk into any hotel in Pai and book a room and we will pay the difference. So I never asked because I never really wanted to explore that idea, but paying the difference, honestly, the range of prices in Pai, first place we looked at was 85 ringgit. That was a scabby hostel. Place I'd booked in was 250 ringgit a night, and then kind of the next available, bearing in mind it's a high season, next available place 1,780 ringgit per night. So I didn't think they were going to be willing to pay a 1,500 ringgit difference when I'd booked a room for 250 ringgit or whatever. So I said, no, option 1 please, you find us somewhere else to stay. But you can say half an hour later she still hasn't got anything, so I'm still looking. I messaged her, I said, forget it, the road from, well, towards Pai is not a road I want to be tackling at night, and it was already getting towards 5 o'clock. So I've done it on a motorbike in night time. It was not a pleasant experience. So I said, look, forget it, we'll go to Chiang Mai. So I've been unable to get us another room because really, as we knew from the night before, there ain't that many rooms available in Pai. I mean, it's bad enough in Chiang Mai, which is a much bigger place with more hotels. We've had trouble getting rooms here. So I said, it's okay, we're going to Chiang Mai. She said, okay, I'll organise your refund. So she's organising a refund. That's great. Makes me feel good. Then we have to find a hotel. Now, I've been here many times, so one of my favourite budget hotels is called Royal Panerai Hotel. And our plan was, F it, we're going to go and stay at the hotel, and then we will just go day trips. Because, so yeah, okay, we better finish this part, don't I? So the plan was, we're going to Pai, do 2 nights in Pai, and then go up to some place called, I think it was called Ban Rak Thai, and apparently it's like a Chinese community on the border with Myanmar, in Thailand. But it's another like almost 2 hours away from Pai, so like 5-hour drive, 6-hour drive from Chiang Mai. So not going to Pai meant we weren't going to go to Ban Rak Thai, and then it was like Mae Hon Son, Doi Inthanon, and maybe one other place I can't remember the name of. But they all kind of ran, a big loop. And to be honest, a couple of them, like Doi Inthanon is the highest point in Thailand. I'd already had enough of high points by now, and just to go and sort of stand somewhere in the cold, look at amazing views. I'd just done that last couple of days, so I wasn't fussed about that. And nothing else looked really worth going to. I mean, I'm pleased that we went to Phayao, because Phayao was beautiful. Chiang Dao was beautiful. Not a lot to do, but beautiful. So we kind of like, forget it, we'll just do day trips. So the hotel, Royal Peninsula, was available. I think 72 baht a night. 72 ringgit for the night. I tried to book more, nothing available. When we got into the hotel, I said, are there any, can we book for longer? Are there any rooms available? Like, no, come and ask me in the morning, but no, there's nothing now. Fuck. So, we took our one night. Hi there. We took our one night, and then we thought,
you look like you know about the area.
Sorry about that, I was just talking to those people. They wanted to know some things to do. I couldn't think of a lot on the spot, but I found a couple. Sticky waterfalls, and then there's a place with a big lake where you can jump in and fluff around. I was told them to find some younger people to ask instead of older people like me. Anyway, where were we? Yeah. So yeah, the trip's like, it's what I got at, it's done. So I basically hired a car for 10 days and we still got 5 or 6 days left. That was a waste of money. I could take it back, but I got a discount because of the amount of days I took it, and it would help us to go out of the town a bit more anyway. Because the end of the ride is going to be like, from then we're just going to chill. There's not going to be a lot running around. It's going to be all staying fairly local. So I don't know what's going on here. This is where the night market starts. If you come from the other end of Taipei Gate. I'm not even sure what night it is now. Is it Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night? Can't remember. Regardless. See, keep seeing these 3 guys everywhere. My Thai friends, if I have any Thai viewers. Who are these 3 dudes? Because all I do is, everywhere we go, is like see pictures of 3 people, see 3 people. These 3 dudes look cool. But who are they? Who are they? My camera's getting hot. I have been ranting a lot, or talking a lot. Anyway, so we're back in Chiang Mai. I went down this morning, said to the lady, are there any rooms available? She said, yes. I said, how long for? She said, how long do you want? I'm like, hey, I was being told there were no rooms. Now it's like, how long do you want? Beautiful. Gotta love the architecture in here. So, how long do you want? Now that was unexpected. So, I said, right, 11th of February. Today is the 28th of January. Yep. So, I'll tell you how much it's costing us for what is, I think, 14 nights, which is till the end of our holiday. Maybe 1,174 ringgit. It's like fucking bargain central. I've got to check now. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I bet that. It's excellent. So we're staying. It's not the greatest hotel, but I've stayed there lots of times. And it's got big rooms, the air conditioning works, Wi-Fi kind of works, and it's just what we need, and it's a good position. We like the position. So we are staying in the Royal Panerai Hotel happily for the next 2 weeks before we have to return to normality, which, you know, have to do. I don't really much want to go back, but we do have to. That's where real life is, and you have to face real life. I'm worried. I mean, upcoming this year, probably going to have to change house because our landlord's an arse and I don't like him. And they're trying to sell the house that they bought as their investment. So I don't like the people. They don't look after the place, they don't look after us, frankly. Like, they contacted us before the renewal, like, oh, we have someone who wants to buy it immediately. A friend of ours wants to buy it immediately. You've got 2 weeks to get out. I'm like, fuck off. Or you pay this extra, much more money, and you can stay. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a complete fucking lie or story. But the family like it there, and who am I to argue? So if we did another 2 years, we're just coming to an end. And they keep sending people around to view the fucking house. Well, I don't think it looks that good because he's done nothing to it over the time we've owned it, and I'm certainly not doing anything freaking well to it. If it's got any problems, that's his fault, and it has got problems. It's a Malaysian house, it's full of fucking holes, leaks like a sieve. There you go, people out for a ride. Lovely ride. I love Chiang Mai. It's just beautiful. There's a place over there called the Hug Academy. What the hell didn't they do there?
It's the Silver Fox Vlog. If you would like to support my adventures